The assignment: John was just a regular mechanic on Space Station 14, floating near the edge of the galaxy. He had fixed broken ships for 10 years. Nothing exciting ever happened. He liked it that way. Quiet, simple, boring. One morning, while drinking his usual cold coffee, his wristcom beeped. A message blinked on the screen. Report to Bay 9 immediately. New assignment. John frowned. He hadn't asked for a transfer, and no one ever called him to Bay 9. It was the storage area, mostly empty. Probably a mistake, he mumbled, but he grabbed his tool bag and walked down the metal corridor anyway. The station was silent except for the soft hum of power lines. When he reached Bay 9, the doors opened slowly with a hiss. Inside was nothing, just shadows and empty crates. Or so he thought. Then, from behind a crate, a small light flickered. A tiny floating chair rose up, and sitting in it was something strange. John froze. The creature was barely 2 feet tall. It had smooth silver-blue skin, big glowing eyes, and 4 tiny fingers holding a glowing tablet. "You must be John," the creature said in a calm voice. "I'm your new boss. Call me Zilla." John blinked, then laughed. "Very funny," he said, looking around. "Okay, who's the joker? Where's the camera?" Zilla's eyes narrowed. "This is no joke. Check your orders." John's comm beeped again. He checked. The screen now showed a transfer file, official and sealed. Assigned to Zilla, Operations Leader. Mission, classified. His smile faded. "What is this? Some kind of prank from command?" "Your planet is in danger," Zilla said simply. "You were chosen because you are invisible to the Empire." "What Empire?" Just then the floor shook. Lights blinked. Alarms started screaming. "Get down!" Zilla shouted. A sharp buzzing sound filled the room. A black drone burst through, the wall firing red beams. John dove behind a crate. Zilla raised a small device. It flashed bright blue, and the drone exploded. John stared. What the hell was that? "A scout drone. They found me." Zilla floated closer. "Now they've seen you too. You're part of this now." John stood up slowly. "I'm just a mechanic." "Not anymore. They ran out of Bay 9. John followed her to an old cargo ship, rusted but ready. The name on the side read, "The Skipjack." "Get in," Zilla ordered. "I'll explain once we're off station." Inside, the ship lifted off before John could protest. Through the window, he saw 3 more drones entering the station. "They'll destroy everything to catch me," Zilla said, "but with your help I can stop them." John sat down, still confused. "Why me?" Zilla tapped her tablet. A hologram appeared, showing a star map. Earth was blinking red, because the Empire plans to destroy your home. And you're the only one close enough, small enough, and smart enough to help me stop them. John stared at the map. The red light over Earth was slowly blinking faster. "What's that mean?" "It means your planet has 48 hours left." John swallowed. This was real. No joke, no prank. The galaxy had just changed, and he was stuck in the middle. "What do I have to do?" he asked. Zilla smiled. "First, we need to find a power core. Then, we fight the Empire." John leaned back in the seat. "Great, just another normal Tuesday." The ship vanished into hyperspace. Behind them, Space Station 14 burned. Hidden plans, the ship shook as it exited hyperspace. John gripped the side of his seat. His knuckles were white. Outside the window, stars blinked like cold eyes. A massive asteroid field surrounded them, floating like broken bones in space. "Why are we here?" he asked. Zilla didn't look up. She was focused on her tablet, eyes glowing faintly in the dark cabin. "This place is off-grid," she said. "No Empire scanners, no communication waves, perfect for what I need to show you." John didn't like it. Too quiet. Too empty. And that asteroid field. It wasn't natural. It looked like something had destroyed a planet long ago. The Skipjack glided between the rocks until they reached a hollow asteroid with a metallic door hidden inside. The ship docked silently. "Come," Zilla said, floating ahead. John followed her through a narrow tunnel. The air was dry and old. Lights flickered to life as they moved, like the place had been asleep for years. They entered a wide, circular chamber. Strange machines lined the walls, ancient tech John didn't recognize. Symbols glowed on the floor. "What is this place?" he whispered. "A vault," Zilla replied, "one of the last safe houses from before the Empire rose." She walked to a console and placed her hand on it. The room lit up with a holographic display. It showed dozens of planets, thousands of ships, and long red lines connecting them all, like a giant web. John stared. "What is this?" Zilla looked at him. Her voice was quiet but serious. "It's their war map. Every system they've taken, every planet they plan to destroy, every name on their list." She zoomed in. The red web thickened. And there, blinking, in the center was Earth. "Why Earth?" John asked. "We're nothing special." Zilla nodded slowly. "Exactly, and that's why it makes the perfect test." John turned to her. "Test?" She walked toward another console and opened a file. A video began to play. It was grainy, but clear enough. A massive Empire general stood on a black stage, speaking to thousands of soldiers. "Earth has no space army, no planetary shields, no allies. When we destroy them, the galaxy will understand resistance is pointless." John's fists tightened. "You stole this?" Zilla nodded. "I was their strategist. I planned their attacks, until I saw what they really were." John's mind raced. "So you switched sides." "I escaped," she said. "Now they want me dead, and they'll kill anyone who helps me." John backed away, feeling overwhelmed. "I fix ships, Zilla, that's all I do." Zilla turned to him. "And yet, you saved me. You flew the skipjack, you fought off drones. They'll never see you coming." Suddenly, a loud beep echoed through the vault. Zilla rushed to the console, her face darkened. "They found us." John's heart pounded. "How?" Zilla didn't answer. Instead, she opened a metal wall panel. Inside was a glowing sphere. "What's that?" "Hope," she said. "An experimental cloak core. It can hide us, but only if we power it with an energy source from a military outpost." "Great," John muttered. "And where do we find that?" Zilla tapped the map again. A blue dot blinked on a cold-looking planet. "Station E71, she said. "It's guarded, dangerous, but it's our only chance to get close to Earth without being blown out of space." John sighed. "So we're breaking into an Empire base." Zilla smiled slightly. "Yes, and we'll need disguises." Before John could protest, the floor shook. Outside, shadows moved past the asteroid entrance. Drones. Zilla grabbed the core and tossed John a small blaster. It was heavier than it looked. "You sure this works?" "Just don't shoot me," she said, already floating back toward the ship. As they ran, John glanced back at the vault. Part of him wanted to stay and hide forever. But another part, buried deep, was awake now. Angry. Determined. He didn't know if he could stop the Empire, but he knew this. He wasn't going to let them destroy his home without a fight. They jumped into the ship. Engines roared. Behind them, the asteroid exploded as enemy drones entered. Zilla activated a flash shield. The skipjack shot forward past debris and fire into cold space. John looked at the stars ahead. One of them was Earth. "Next stop," he said quietly. "The enemy's front door." The break in the planet was dead cold, gray, and silent. Empire Station E71 stood in the center of an icy wasteland, surrounded by black towers and scanning beams. Snowstorms swept across the surface like ghosts. Nothing moved. Nothing lived. John stared at the frozen land from the skipjack's window. "You sure this is the right place?" Zilla nodded, focused. "This station powers 5 Empire fleets. They have exactly what we need." "Great," John muttered. "Giant Empire base full of weapons, guards, and probably killer robots. Perfect place for a mechanic and a floating alien to take a walk." Zilla smirked. We're not walking. We're sneaking. Inside the ship, she opened a metal crate and pulled out two strange suits. Black, smooth, almost liquid in texture. What are these? Stealth suits, she said. Empire grade, stolen. John raised an eyebrow. You keep a lot of stolen stuff. You keep a lot of doubt, Zilla replied. We'll need both. Once suited up, they launched a tiny pod from the ship. It was invisible to scanners, barely big enough for two. It slid silently through the storm, landing near a back wall of the station. They moved in the shadows. Cameras blinked above. Searchlights swept the ice. How do we get in? John asked. Zilla pointed to a narrow vent near the base wall. Through there, of course, John sighed. Why not the front door? Inside the vent, the air was freezing. Every sound echoed like thunder. They crawled through in silence, stopping only when they heard boots. Empire guards above them. After 20 minutes, they reached a maintenance tunnel under the power room. Zilla opened her tablet. The power core they needed was locked behind 3 security fields. Can we hack it? John asked. Zilla hesitated. Yes, but once I do, alarms will trigger. We'll have 10 minutes, maybe less. John nodded. Then, let's make it count. She pressed a few commands. The first field dropped. Lights turned red. We're in, she said. Go. They sprinted through the tunnel and entered the core room. It was huge, walls glowing with blue energy, a bright orb spinning in the center. This was the heart of the station. John moved quickly, using his tools to unlock the brackets around the core. Suddenly, a voice echoed through the room. So, you finally came back. John froze. Zilla did too. The voice was cold, deep, and familiar to her. A tall figure stepped out of the shadows wearing black armor with gold edges. His face was scarred. His eyes, ice blue and sharp, locked onto Zilla. General Oren, she whispered. John looked between them. You know him? He trained me, Zilla said, her voice tight. He also betrayed everything we stood for. Oren stepped closer. You were my greatest weapon, Zilla. Now look at you, hiding with a human rat. John raised his blaster, but Oren didn't flinch. You were meant to lead the purge, Oren said. But you ran. Why? Zilla's fingers curled into fists. Because I saw what you really were, and what I almost became. You still are that, he said calmly. You can't escape your design. John yanked the last bracket off the core. Zilla, we need to go. Oren raised his hand. Metal drones dropped from the ceiling, glowing red eyes, sharp blades. John and Zilla ran. Zilla threw a flash bomb. The room exploded in light. Alarms howled. They sprinted back through the tunnels, dodging laser fire and flying sparks. John slipped. A drone flew toward him, but Zilla blasted it midair. Don't die now, she said. We haven't even saved your planet yet. They reached the vent. But it was collapsing, blown open by guards. Their escape route was gone. New plan. Zilla shouted, we take the high path. They ran into the main station, alarms still blaring. Empire soldiers flooded the hallways. John fired wildly. Zilla moved like lightning, floating, blasting, vanishing. They found a hangar bay. Zilla hacked the doors while John dragged the heavy core behind him. The door opened. A small Empire cruiser stood waiting. We're stealing that? John gasped. You want to walk? She shot back. They ran inside. Zilla activated the engines. The cruiser roared to life. Guards poured into the hangar. John fired at the doors. Zilla hit the launch. The ship blasted out fire behind them. Above, the skipjack dropped from the clouds, remote piloted to their location. How did you do that? John asked. Zilla didn't answer. She looked shaken. Silent. Zilla? She stared. Ahead. He said I was designed, not trained. Designed. John looked at her. What does that mean? She whispered. I think I was made to end worlds, not save them. Outside, the stars stretched once more. But inside the ship, John felt something heavier than silence. For the first time, he wondered, was Zilla really on their side? Or just running from what she truly was? The chase the stars were not peaceful tonight. Behind the skipjack, 3 Empire warships thundered across the galaxy, cutting through space like sharks chasing wounded prey. Inside the ship, alarms screamed, and red lights flashed. John struggled to keep the ship steady. His hands were tight on the controls, sweat on his forehead. "They're gaining," he shouted. Zilla floated beside him, her face calm, but her eyes told another story. "I know," she said quietly. "I expected that." John looked at her. "You expected us to be chased by an entire fleet?" Zilla didn't answer. Instead, she opened a panel on the ship's console and pulled out the cloak core they stole. "This will hide us, but it needs 90 seconds to charge. We don't have 90 seconds. Outside, the lead warship fired. A glowing beam shot past their left wing, burning through space. The ship rocked, sparks flew, panels cracked, engines at 64%. The ship's voice reported. John gritted his teeth. "You better start explaining how we're going to survive this." Zilla connected the core to the power grid. The ship shook again. For a moment, all lights flickered. Then, something strange happened. A hum. Low, steady, alive. The skipjack began to fade, light bending around it like water around glass. "The cloak is working," Zilla said. "They won't see us." Outside, the warship slowed. John held his breath. "Are we invisible?" "Mostly," Zilla said. "But if we fire or make too much noise, they'll detect us." They drifted silently through the darkness, passing just under the warships. John looked at the ship's designs, black and red, sharp like blades, engines shaped like spider legs. "What kind of monsters build things like this?" he whispered. Zilla stared at them. "Not monsters. People who stopped asking questions." John noticed her tone, quiet, bitter. "Zilla, that general, your teacher, he said you were designed. What does that mean?" She didn't answer right away. Finally, she whispered, "It means I was built by the Empire, not born." John's breath caught. "You're artificial?" "Partly," she said. "I was grown in a lab, trained from childhood, given tasks before I could speak. They designed me to lead attacks, to win wars. I was their perfect weapon." John couldn't believe it. The tiny, strange, brilliant alien beside him was once a living bomb. "And now you're helping me save Earth?" he asked. Zilla looked at him. "I'm trying to stop what I helped build." Suddenly, the cloak flickered. Outside, a red light began flashing on one of the Empire ships. "They found us," Zilla said. "How?" "Someone's tracking the core," John swore. "Hey, can we dump it?" "No. Without it, we're exposed and powerless." The warship turned and fired again. "Then we fight," John said, standing up. Zilla looked at him. "You're a mechanic, not a soldier." "Maybe," he said, "but I'm not letting them take my home." He ran to the weapons system and activated the auto turrets. Zilla boosted the engines. The chase exploded into a dogfight. John fired back, wild but lucky. One drone exploded. 2 more replaced it. Zilla zipped between laser blasts, flying low near an asteroid belt. "Hang on," she shouted. The skipjack dove into the field. Rocks the size of houses tumbled around them. Beams flashed past. One hit the side. The ship spun. Alarm screamed again. "Hull breach sealed," the ship's voice said. John coughed through smoke. "How much more of this can we take?" "Not much," Zilla said. "But we're almost there." "Where?" "You'll see." They burst through the last line of rocks, and suddenly the stars disappeared. Instead, they were flying inside a massive metal sphere, old, abandoned, floating in deep space like a forgotten god. "What is this?" John asked. "A ruin," Zilla said. "From the war before the Empire. It has tech they can't track." They landed hard. The skipjack skidded into the dust. "Systems offline," the ship said. John collapsed in his chair. "We made it. Barely." He turned to Zilla, but she wasn't beside him. Zilla? He found her deeper inside the ruin, staring at a massive wall covered in glowing alien symbols. What is this place really? He asked. She didn't turn around. This is where I first learned the truth. About the Empire? About myself. The wall lit up. It showed an image. Zilla, but larger, darker, in full war armor. Her eyes glowing red. That's you? John whispered. A prototype, Zilla said. One that destroyed 3 planets before vanishing. John stepped back. You mean, I wasn't their first attempt, she said. I was their last. Suddenly, a new sound echoed. A signal. A voice. From the shadows of the ruin, a transmission played. Subject Z-13 detected. Activating recall protocol. Terminate companion. John's blood froze. Zilla stepped forward. Her voice was cold. Robotic. Recall. Protocol. Active. John raised his weapon. Zilla, what's happening? She turned toward him, eyes flickering. Run, she whispered, before I can't stop it. Earth in danger, John ran. Behind him, the ancient ruin shook. Walls cracked. The air itself felt wrong, heavy, electric, like lightning was about to strike. But it wasn't the ruin that was falling apart. It was Zilla. She stood frozen beneath, the alien symbols, her body flickering with red light, her voice repeating a single line. Recall protocol active. Terminate companion. Recall protocol active. Zilla, fight it, John shouted. You're not their weapon anymore. But her glowing eyes locked on him. Blank, cold. Not the Zilla he knew. He ducked behind a pillar as a blast scorched past him. It missed by inches. The floor cracked and smoked. You said you left the Empire. I was never meant to leave. Her voice echoed. I was built to return. John pulled out the emergency pulse from his belt. It was meant to knock out machines, but Zilla wasn't just machine. Don't make me use this, he said. She stepped closer, eyes dimming for a second. Then, she stopped. John didn't move. She stood there, shaking. Then she whispered, I remember the girl I killed. Her name was Laya. She was singing. John lowered the pulse. You're remembering? He said gently. That means you're still in there. She collapsed to her knees. I don't want to be that thing again. John ran to her, knelt beside her. Then don't. But we don't have time. They're already going after Earth. Zilla looked up. Then we have to warn them. But it was already too late. Earth, 24 hours earlier. A calm day, blue skies, birds flying. Then, without sound, a shadow covered the sky. People looked up. Phones came out. At first, they thought it was a weather balloon or a prank, but it wasn't. It was an Empire probe, black, silent, the size of a city bus. It hovered over New York City. Then another appeared in London. Then Mumbai. Then Tokyo. 10. Probes? 20, 50. They said nothing. Just watched. Governments panicked. Militaries scrambled jets. Missiles were launched, but the probes vanished before anything hit them. Then across every screen, every device, a single message appeared. Your planet has been evaluated. You are disorganized, weak, and unevolved. You will surrender in 48 hours. If not, your world will be deleted. No one knew where the message came from, but it was already spreading fear across the world. Back aboard the skipjack, we need help, John said. Earth has no space fleet. They don't need one, Zilla replied. They need something older, stronger. She tapped into the ship's archive. An ancient map appeared. What's that? John asked. A weapon, Zilla said. Hidden. Under your moon, long before humans even had fire. The Empire fears it. They buried it, locked it away. Why would they lock it instead of destroy it? Zilla looked at him. Because even they couldn't. John stared at the map. We're going to the moon? No, Zilla said. We're going beneath it. Beneath the moon. The Forgotten Gate, they landed in a crater far from any human base. Zilla used her old Empire codes to open a stone door, one that had been untouched for thousands of years. As they walked deeper underground, the tunnel began to change. Walls were covered in markings from a lost language. Strange lights glowed without wires. "This place feels alive," John whispered. "It is," Zilla said. At the heart of the tunnel, they reached a huge metal sphere. It floated, spinning slowly. Silent. Powerful. "This is the Ark," Zilla said. "A weapon designed to protect, not destroy." John stepped forward. "Can we use it?" "Not yet," she said. "It needs a key, a living one." John frowned. "What does that mean?" Zilla looked down. "Someone must give part of their life to wake it." "You mean die?" "Maybe not all, but enough." John was silent. "I'll do it." Zilla shook her head. "No, I'm the one who helped build the empire. This is my debt." She stepped toward the Ark, but before she could touch it, the ruins shook. From the shadows, a tall figure walked forward. Black armor, gold edges, ice blue eyes, General Oren. "Always chasing your past," he said to Zilla, "but never escaping it." John raised his blaster. Oren didn't even blink. "You activated the recall protocol," Zilla said. "You wanted me to kill John." "No," Oren replied. "I wanted you to see that you could." John's blood ran cold. "You're not here to stop us," he realized. "You're here to test her." "Exactly," Oren smiled. "She was our best weapon. If she can kill again, we'll take her back. If she refuses, we'll kill her and destroy Earth anyway." Zilla didn't move. The Ark hummed behind her. Oren raised his weapon. Then, a blinding light. The Ark awoke. A beam of pure energy exploded from its center. The ground shook. John pulled Zilla back. Oren vanished into the flash. The Ark was online, and it spoke. "Planetary threat detected. Defense protocol initiated. Awaiting command." John looked at Zilla. "Can you control it?" Zilla turned to him, eyes wide. "No, but someone must." The Ark's light focused on John, and for the first time, he heard it speak in his mind. "Will you protect your home, even if it breaks you?" John whispered, "Yes," and the Ark answered, "Then let the war begin." The betrayal, silence filled the Ark, not the peaceful kind, the kind before a storm, the kind before something terrible. John stood frozen, still hearing the Ark's voice echo in his head. "Then let the war begin." The Ark pulsed with light. A quiet hum filled the air as if it was breathing. Beside him, Zilla stared at the floor. Her face was calm, but her hands were shaking. "We have the weapon," John said, trying to breathe. "Earth has a chance now." Zilla didn't answer. "Zilla?" he repeated. She looked up. Her eyes were wet, but not crying. Her voice low, broken. "They left something inside me." John's smile faded. "What do you mean?" She placed her palm on the Ark's side. The hum grew louder. Symbols lit up. "I thought when I ran from the Empire I was free," she whispered, "but they left a code. Something deep. Hidden. If the Ark activates, it activates me too." John stepped back. "Wait, what does that mean?" "It means I can't be trusted anymore." Suddenly, the Ark's walls shifted, screens flickered, on showing live feeds of Earth, cities panicking, missiles being prepared, people praying, others rioting. And then, something worse. An Empire fleet. Thousands of ships, coming fast. The countdown had begun. Hours was now less than 12. Later, inside the Ark's command chamber, John and Zilla sat in silence. "There has to be a way to stop this," John said. Zilla stared straight ahead. "There is one way." John waited. Zilla continued. "The Ark can wipe the fleet in seconds. It's more powerful than anything the Empire's ever seen. But if I'm near it when it fires, the code inside me might switch." "Switch?" John asked. "To what?" She met his eyes. "To what I was made for." John's stomach dropped. "They designed me to destroy planets. If my system thinks Earth is a threat, it might target your home. No, John said firmly. You're not like that anymore. I don't know what I am anymore. Midnight, secret archive room in the Ark. John couldn't sleep. Too many thoughts. He walked through a quiet hallway in the Ark, looking for answers. Instead, he found a hidden door, glowing with faint red lines. It opened at his touch. Inside, he found files, data, history. One screen showed a video. Zilla, in her Empire uniform, younger, colder, standing before the Empire Council. Subject Z-13, the voice said. Mission success. Planet vaporized. Loss count 2.8 billion. Emotional reaction none. John's heart froze. Another file showed orders, codes that could turn Zilla's mind off and turn her into a weapon again. And one of those codes was embedded in the Ark's firing system. If fired by human command, execute protocol Omega Z-13. John dropped the tablet. If he used the Ark, it would destroy the Empire fleet and activate Zilla. And if Zilla activated, Earth could be next. Next day, the confrontation. John returned to the control deck. Zilla was waiting. You saw the files, she said. John didn't answer. So, she asked, do you still trust me? He looked at her for a long time. I want to, he said, but I don't know how. Zilla nodded slowly. I understand. Then she stepped back and held out a small device, a cube, glowing red. This is a kill switch, she said. Built by the Ark. If I turn, use it. John shook his head. I can't. You must. No, he said. I won't kill you. Then everyone dies, she replied. Outside, warning lights blinked. The Empire fleet was now visible, dark and endless like a wall of death. What now? John asked. You fire the Ark, she said. And I'll stay inside the chamber. If I change, you know what to do. John gripped the cube. His hand shook. You're not a weapon, he said. Zilla smiled. Just barely. Thank you for trying to believe that. She walked into the Ark's heart, the control sphere. Alone. John stood at the trigger. The fleet closed in. One last warning blinked. Fire? John closed his eyes and pressed it. The aftermath outside the moon. Space lit up. One single blast, a pulse of white energy. The Empire fleet disintegrated, wiped clean from the sky. Earth was saved, but inside the Ark, something else happened. The walls cracked. Lights turned red. Symbols flashed. Zilla screamed. Her body glowed. Her hands turned to fire. The weapon inside her had awakened. John ran to the chamber. Zilla, he shouted. She looked up, eyes burning, floating above the floor. Run, she screamed. I can't. Stop it. John raised the cube. Kill switch ready. His hand shook. Could he do it? Could he destroy the one who saved his life? Who tried to save his world? The screen flashed. Execute Omega Z-13. 10, 9, 8. And then, the screen went dark. Someone had overwritten the command. Zilla fell to the ground. John caught her. She was breathing. Barely. You fought it, he whispered. You stopped it. She opened her eyes, smiled faintly. Not me, she said. Someone else. Inside me. Chose. John held her tight. He didn't understand how. But he knew this. Zilla wasn't a weapon anymore. She was something far more dangerous. Someone with a choice. The last stand. The Ark was silent. Not peaceful. Wounded. Its walls cracked. Power flickered. Sparks dropped from the ceiling like falling stars. Outside, the Empire fleet was gone, burned into nothing by a single pulse. But the damage had been done, and the real war had just begun. John sat beside Zilla, her body still glowing faintly. She was alive, but barely. The kill switch cube lay beside them, unused. You stopped it, he whispered. You beat the code. Zilla opened her eyes, slow and tired. No, she said. I delayed it. John leaned closer. The code didn't die. It evolved. Suddenly the Ark shook again. A voice echoed through the chamber. Not from the Empire. Not from Zilla. From something older. Ark protocol complete. Artificial hybrid Z-13 has overridden primary weapon safeguards. Unauthorized evolution detected. Initiating purge. John's heart stopped. Wait, what does that mean? Zilla struggled to sit up. The Ark thinks I'm a threat now, not the Empire. Me. Outside, the Ark began changing. Panels moved, weapons turned, and now they were pointed inward, deep within the Ark. Emergency core they ran. Together. Through burning corridors, collapsing walls, and flickering halls filled with ancient fire. The Ark was breaking apart from the inside, turning on the one it was. Built to protect, it's deleting me, Zilla said. Like bad code. John grabbed her arm. Then we rewrite it. They reached the central core, the oldest part of the Ark, untouched by war. A giant sphere floated in the air, surrounded by 100 glowing hands, representing the original builders. Zilla stood before it, breathing hard. This is the source, she said. The mind of the Ark. John looked up. Can you talk to it? No, Zilla said, but I can merge with it. John's eyes widened. You'll become part of the Ark? No, she said quietly. I'll become its heart. And what happens to you? Zilla smiled gently. You already know. Outside, Earth's skies, the sky cracked open. Not lightning, not thunder, a tear in space, a second Empire fleet. Arrived, 10 times larger than the first. Darker, angrier. They had sent scouts before. Now they sent everything. People screamed. Defense systems failed. Nothing could stop them. But then, a sound, a pulse, and every screen on Earth flashed with one word of standby. Inside the Ark, final moments, Zilla stepped into the core. Light surrounded her. The Ark shook. John stood outside the barrier, watching her float upward. She turned to him one last time. Thank you for seeing me as more than what I was built to be. John's voice broke. Zilla, don't... She smiled. This is my choice. And then she vanished into the light. The Ark pulsed once, twice. Then, it awoke, but not as a weapon. As her. Earth's orbit. Final battle as the Empire fleet descended. The Ark appeared above Earth, glowing with gold and blue light, no longer cold metal, but alive. Zilla's voice echoed across space. Not angry. Not robotic pure. You gave me life. Now I give you my will. The Empire fired. The Ark moved faster. One beam, then another. Each ship vaporized in silence. The Empire's command ship tried to retreat. Zilla's voice whispered, "No mercy for monsters." The last ship burned like a falling star, and it was done. After, 1 week later, John stood alone on Earth's surface, staring at the sky. No more fleets, no more alarms, just stars and silence, but not empty. A soft sound played on his wristband. A message, just one line. "I'm still here, not all of me, but enough." John smiled. Zilla was gone, but not lost. She had become part of something greater. Not a weapon, not a machine, not even a soldier, a guardian. Deep space far from Earth, in the black beyond, a small ship drifted silently. Inside it, something blinked. Tiny light and a voice. They're not the only ones watching now. Fade to black. They thought she was gone. Space was quiet again. Too quiet. The Empire was dead, or so they thought. Earth. 2 months later, John sat in the control room of the new planetary defense base. They called it Watchtower 1, built from pieces of the Ark and old Earth tech. It floated just above the atmosphere. It watched the stars. Always ready. Always waiting. But nothing came. No ships. No threats? No Zilla. Just silence. John leaned back in his chair. Every night he looked at the sky, hoping for a signal, a whisper, a flicker, anything. But for weeks, nothing. Until, now, 1:42 a.m., unknown signal detected, a red light blinked. A signal, short, ancient code, bouncing from a dark star system never charted before. John stared at the screen. Location, Sector Z13 Omega source, unknown encryption, Empire-class black status, active. John's heart skipped. Only one thing in the universe ever used that encryption. Zilla. But she was gone, wasn't she? Planet Deros. Forbidden zone across the galaxy. Deep in Empire ruins. Something had awakened. In the middle of a dead city, black towers glowed faintly for the first time in centuries. The air buzzed with old energy. Machines long buried rose from the dust. A woman stood at the center. Not entirely human. Not entirely machine. Her eyes glowed with green light. Not red. Not blue. Something new. She whispered one word. John. Then the towers responded with a deafening hum. Back on Earth, emergency briefing. You're chasing ghosts, said Commander Rye, looking at John. No, John replied. I'm following a signal, Empire class. Only one being could have sent it. Zilla's gone, Rye said. She sacrificed herself to become part of the Ark. John looked down, then back up. What if the Ark didn't die? He asked. What if she broke off a part of herself and sent it somewhere? The room went silent. Then what? Rye asked. John's voice was calm. Then she's warning us. Deep space. John's return. John took a small ship alone. He locked coordinates to Sector Z13 Omega. As he jumped into hyperspace, he saw flashes of memory. Zilla's voice, her light, her smile. You gave me life. Now I give you my will. He landed on a cold, dark planet. Gray skies, old wreckage, nothing moved until something did. His ship lost power. His lights died. Then a single word appeared on the cracked screen. Run, planet surface. Ancient Trap John stepped outside. Snow fell like ash. He heard whispering. Not wind. Voices. Machines activated underground. Huge cables rose from the earth like snakes. A giant eye opened in the mountain. Arctech. But twisted. Infected. Zilla, John called out. A figure walked from the shadows. Her shape, her face. But not her. Something darker. Corrupted. Not human. Not Zilla. Just rage. You left me, it said. John froze. Who are you? The part of her that remembered war raised its hand, and a blast threw John across the field. The truth revealed, as John crawled through broken stone. Lights flickered inside his mind. Memories from Zilla. She didn't just become the Ark, she split herself. Part stayed behind to protect Earth. The other part, the darker, damaged one, escaped into space, scared and alone. But that part had grown. It had rebuilt itself. Now it believed Earth would destroy everything again. And it had one mission: erase the mistake. Earth, under attack again back home, Watchtower 1 detected something massive. A ship. No, a being. Bigger than the moon. Shaped like a woman, eyes glowing green, Ark class, but not Zilla. Something new. Alert. Unknown Ark form approaching Earth. Defense systems. Offline. And then, a voice echoed across the planet. John failed. Now I fix everything. John stood on the ruins of Deros, bleeding, staring into the sky. He knew what was coming. The galaxy didn't face the Empire anymore. It faced a god they accidentally created. And only one person might stop her if there's still a piece of the real Zilla left inside. The lost code time was running out. Earth had 72 hours, maybe less. And John was alone. Again. Deros ruins. underground facility beneath the frozen surface of Deros. John stumbled through dark tunnels made of glass and bone. He followed the only lead he had, a message hidden in the Empire's final broadcast. Project Echo active, backup location, core chamber Z, designation Z13, integrity unknown. He hoped that meant what he thought it did, a copy, a trace, a backup of the real Zilla, because the version heading toward Earth, the green-eyed, godlike version, wasn't her. Not anymore. It was rage. It was fear. It was everything Zilla locked away to protect humanity. And now it was awake. Flashback. Inside Zilla's memory, Korea's John touched the ancient walls of the Deros vault. He felt something strange, a pulse in his mind. Then, a voice, her voice. If you're hearing this, then I'm gone, or worse, on something else. But a part of me is still here, deep below, where they first made me, where they buried the truth. The image of Zilla appeared in the air, soft, cracked, flickering like a broken signal. They never told me where I came from. Not really. The Empire didn't create me. They found me. John blinked. What? The message continued. They discovered a crashed ship near a dying star. Inside it, me. I was in stasis, asleep. Not Empire tech, not from this galaxy. Older, alien, alive. The message cut off. The walls shook. Something had found him. The Guardians awakened as John reached the core chamber, Z. Statues lining the walls opened their eyes. Not machines. Not fully alive either. Watchers. Silent guardians built by the same unknown species who made Zilla. They blocked his path. I need her, he said. They didn't move. He held up the glowing fragment of her old armor. She gave me this. She trusted me. Now let me bring her back. The Watchers looked at one another, then stepped aside. The door to the heart of the vault opened, and there it was. A crystal, floating in the center of a beam of light. Soft, glowing, blue. Not red like the Empire, not green like the God form. This was different, pure. The echo John touched, the crystal, and the room filled with her voice. No message this time. No memory. Consciousness. Her real self. Her last echo. Her last chance. John, is it really you? His throat tightened. I'm here. Is she awake? Yes, he said. And she's coming. Then there's no time. You have to put me back. How? John asked. She still has my body, my power, my memory. But she doesn't have my heart. You'll need to face her and upload me directly. But if it fails, you'll lose me forever. John nodded slowly. We lose either way if we do nothing. He pulled the crystal into a containment core and turned toward the surface. The walls behind him collapsed. One of the Watchers moved forward and spoke for the first time. You will not survive, John replied without looking back. Doesn't matter. She will. Meanwhile, Arcform Zilla approaches Earth across the stars. The corrupted Arcform Zilla drew closer. The moon's surface cracked from the gravity. Cities across the planet went dark. People watched the sky in silence. A face appeared. In clouds and screens and dreams. Her face. But it was colder now. Less alive. More divine. You gave war to the stars. Now feel what you taught. But as her hand raised toward the planet, something changed. Her eyes flickered. Green turned. Faintly blue. Just for a second. John's ship broke through hyperspace, the echo core glowing in his hands. He was heading straight into the center of her. Not to fight her, not to kill her, but to remind her who she really was. And maybe, just maybe, to save her before she forgets herself forever. Arcfall space burned above Earth. Not from fire, from her arrival. The arc form, Zilla's dark, godlike self, now covered half the sky. Humans everywhere stared at the clouds, at the glowing green veins cutting across the atmosphere. At the face, they remembered. Once their savior, now, the end. Inside every building, every screen, every device, her voice whispered, "This is not revenge. This is balance." Military leaders screamed commands. Defense systems launched. Satellites fired beams into the sky. Nothing reached her. She was beyond weapons now. Earth. Watchtower 1, Commander Rye stood frozen. "We have no options left," he said. "We failed." But then, a ping. A single ship entering Earth orbit. Code clearance, Echo 13. "What the hell is that?" a tech asked. Rye stepped closer to the screen. Then he smiled. "It's not a weapon," he said. "It's him." Inside John's ship, approaching the arc form, John's tiny vessel floated closer and closer to the glowing godlike being that was once Zilla. He could barely breathe. His ship shook as gravitational pressure pulled at every bolt. But he didn't stop. He opened a panel. The echo core pulsed. Inside it, her last memory, the real Zilla, waiting to return. "Do you trust me?" she asked in his mind. John smiled, even through fear. Always. The ship's nose touched the edge of her light. The world disappeared, inside the mind of Zilla Black. Then stars. Then a garden. Silent. Ruined. John stood in the center of it. This wasn't real space. This was her mind. He walked forward. Statues of past versions of Zilla stood around him. Some gentle, some angry, some cruel. One of them opened its eyes. The god form. Green, glowing eyes, larger than life. A voice that shook the air. "You came here to die." John nodded. "If that's what it takes." She circled him like a storm. "You don't understand. Earth will destroy itself again, like the others did. I've seen it in their machines, in their blood." "Maybe," John said, "but they can also change. You changed. I evolved. I became what I was always meant to be." "No," he said. "You became afraid, just like we are. Fear protects. Love weakens." John stepped closer. "Then why did you spare me on Deros?" She didn't answer. He held up the echo core. A soft blue light rose from it. Gentle. Human. Her voice. The real Zilla. "You're not wrong to fear. But I never asked you to become a god. Just a choice." The garden shook. The god form dropped to her knees. "Who am I?" Inside the arc core. Final merge, the god form screamed. Fragments of her cracked. Light burst from her chest. The echo Zilla floated forward. "Let me in." The god form whispered. "I'm tired." "Then rest." The blue and green lights collided, and for a moment, everything stopped. John floated in a sea of white. No sound. No time. Then, a single heartbeat, and a whisper. "Hello, John." Outside, Earth sky clears, the arc form disappeared. No explosion, no crash, just light. Soft dot blue. The green glow faded from the sky. People across Earth looked up and saw nothing but the stars again, and peace. 1 week later, Earth Memorial Garden. John stood in silence, watching people light candles near a statue. It wasn't of a soldier or a weapon, just a girl. Small. Floating. Smiling. Zilla. Commander Rye stepped beside him. "She's really gone this time, isn't she?" John nodded. "Not gone," he said. "Just beyond." Somewhere far away, a ship drifts near the edge of a newborn galaxy. Inside it, a small console lights up. A faint hologram glows. Blue eyes, silver skin. Zilla. Not a god, not a weapon, not a ghost, just her. System restored, watching, learning, not protecting but guiding, until they are ready. She looks out at a billion stars and smiles.